Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Nandana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Nandana. Rajagacharya Chittara Sadasyaman Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindra ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai. Swami Ito Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulasi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Swami Ito Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, my humble obeisances. You're welcome for today's class.
Hare Krishna.
How are you? How is your health?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. You're welcome. Today's class I will put on the screen so we can start, please.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You're welcome.
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes, Prabhu. Very clear.
Yes. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. What is your name, Prabhuji?
My name is Kushya.
Yes?
Kushadas.
Kushadas. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes.
You're welcome. So we start the class. I put the verse on the screen and you can start, please.
Yes. Okay. Yes, so I should, shall I just go ahead reading?
Yes, Prabhu. You chant like in the temple room. Prabhupada already chanted Radha Madhava, so you do the other ones.
Okay, you already chanted Radha Madhava.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Itadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Vanchakalpaturubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. So we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 8th chapter, text number 39. So these are the prayers by Queen Kunti. Neham subhishyate tatra yate danim gadadara Tvatpadai Ankita Bhatin Salakshana Vilakshitai. So the word for word, na, not. Yam, this land of our kingdom. Subhishyate will appear beautiful. Tatra, and then yatha, as it is. Idanim, now, Gadadhar or Krishna, Tvat, your, Padai, by the feet, Ankita, marked, Bhati is dazzling, Salakshana, your own marks, Vilakshitai, by the impressions. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. O Gadadhar, Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet. I cannot see here. And therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will not longer be so. Purport. There are certain particular marks on the feet of the Lord which distinguish the Lord from others. The marks of a flag, thunderbolt, an instrument to drive an elephant, umbrella, lotus, disc, etc. are on the bottom of the Lord's feet. These marks are impressed upon the soft dust of the land where the Lord traverses. The land of Hastinapura was dust marked while Lord Sri Krishna was there with the Pandavas. And the kingdom of the Pandavas thus flourished by such auspicious signs. Kunti Devi pointed out these distinguished features and was afraid of ill luck in the absence of the Lord. So, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we are able to read this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam, and we're able to have some understanding of the wonderful nature of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his wonderful pastimes. So in this first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the praise of Queen Kunti are very well known, famous, and Srila Prabhupada used to regularly recite these verses. There's a beautiful also recording of Srila Prabhupada chanting all the prayers of Queen Kunti. And so, as we know, Queen Kunti, she's a pure devotee of the Lord, and also in the past time she's not only pure devotee of the Lord, but an associate of the Lord, but the relationship is there with Krishna. So she was the aunt of Krishna. So of course, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the source of everything. But then there's a personal relationship with his devotees. In the spiritual world, but even when the Lord is coming in this world, actually when Krishna is coming to this material world, his eternal associates are coming with him. And they're assisting in the pastimes of the Lord. So two kinds of pastimes are there with Krishna, with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They're known as, the one pastime is known as Aprakat Lila, that is in the spiritual world, which can only be seen by the pure devotees. And these pastimes in the spiritual world are eternally going on. Krishna is eternally residing in Golok Vrindavan in the spiritual world. But not only in Golok Vrindavan, but then at the same time is also manifested in Dwarka and in Mathura, in Krishna Loka, the highest planet. Also different manifestations are there of the Supreme Lord Krishna in Vaikuntha. These are all expansions ultimately of Krishna. So eternally these pastimes are going on. Therefore they are known as Nitya Lila, eternally going on. Throughout the entire existence of this of the spiritual world, and then of course by his own sweet will, then the pastimes also manifested in this material world. Whenever the material world is manifested, at that time Krishna is manifested here also. Simultaneously, it doesn't mean that he has come here and is not there in the spiritual world. Simultaneously is there in the spiritual world and also in this material world. And it's completely untouched by the modes of material nature. So these pastimes in this world, they are known as Prakat Lila or Naimittika Lila. So they manifest, and therefore even conditioned souls, only human beings, they may be able to see the pastimes of the Lord. But not everyone is fortunate to understand also the nature of Krishna and the wonderful pastimes. Only those who have those who are fortunate, those who are pious, and those who are blessed by the Lord or the devotees, they can understand the wonderful pastimes of Krishna. So the purpose of these pastimes in the world, in the material world, are there to attract the conditioned souls known as Nityabada, who have been in the conditioned state since time immemorial, but also eternal sons of Krishna. So for the benefit of these conditioned souls, the Lord is coming himself once in the day of Lord Brahma. And at other times, his different expansions are appearing to benefit the conditioned souls. So they may take up spiritual life. So they may come to understand their spiritual nature as eternal sons of Krishna, completely apart from the gross and subtle body. So we are very fortunate that we have come to Krishna consciousness. Ultimately, it is by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who was empowered by Krishna, by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And so practically we can see that practically in every town and village, as prophesied by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that his holy names will be chanted. Priti Vityacha Yatanagaradi Gram Sarvatra Prachar Hoiba Morana. Mahaprabhu had foretold that in every town and village my name will be chanted. And through Srila Prabhupada, that actually has happened. And so we are able to advance in spiritual life by chanting the holy names, the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And so here in this beautiful verse, of course, we know also that is transcendental literatures like Krishna's will, the Srimad Bhagavatam has manifested. It is no different from Krishna. And again, through the devotees, it has been actually revealed. Krishna himself, he spoke originally the Srimad Bhagavatam to Lord Brahma, and that is recorded in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, and the second canto, 9th chapter, text number 33 to 36. And there he has explained before the original verses also, which are known as Chatushloki Bhagavatam, and that there he has explained to Lord Brahma that Jnanam Param Guhyam me Yad Vijnanam Samamvitam Sa Rahasyam Tadangascha Grihana Gatitam Maya. So he told to Lord Brahma, you please kindly you accept this knowledge, which is very confidential. And with it comes the realization. So by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam from the Lord or representatives, and if we try to apply Sarahasyam Tat Angascha, so it is very secret from one point of view. It is only revealed to the devotees by Tadanga, by performing the different limbs of devotional service. And is explained by Rupa Goswami, Gurupad Ashray, by taking shelter of the lotus feet of a spiritual master, a pure devotee, a representative of the Lord. Krishna Kripa Sri Murti, the manifestation of the mercy of Krishna, that is the pure devotee. By his mercy, and then we can engage in devotional service, then we can properly assimilate this knowledge, and we can realize this knowledge. So the different great personalities, they have spoken in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then as recorded here, and then different acharyas, previous acharyas, they have given beautiful explanations so we can properly understand the Srimad Bhagavatam. And specifically for us, Srila Prabhupada has taken the great pain of translating in the English language this transcendental literature with beautiful explanation, his purports, so we can clearly understand the wonderful subject matter. So these verses here are beautiful prayers, so which can be chanted and which will give pleasure to the Lord. So different prayers are there in the Bhagavatam, or even given by the acharyas, by the pure devotees, especially for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And by chanting these prayers, we get actually we get so much benefited. First of all, because we are chanting for the pleasure of the Lord. And when Krishna is hearing these prayers, which you are reciting, because these are prayers by the pure devotees, then Krishna will be pleased. And not only that, but then the mood of the pure devotees will come in our heart by reciting their prayers. And in this way we can satisfy the Lord, and in this way we can advance more and more on the path of pure devotional service, and then ultimately realize Krishna's beautiful form as he is, and in our own transcendental form. So here, in this particular verse, so Kunti Devi, she's addressing Krishna, Gadadhar. So Gadadhar. Dhara means one who is holding. Gada, that means the club. So Krishna mostly Krishna is, he's there in his two-armed form, Vibhuj Roop. But sometimes he's manifesting four arms, especially yes, in Dwarka and also in Mathura. Of course, in Vaikuntha, all the Vishnu Murtis, they are always there in their four-armed form and having the different auspicious items in their transcendental hands. Whereas Krishna is not always manifesting his four arms or four hands. Only sometimes, also of course to give pleasure to his devotees and to show his transcendental position as the Supreme Lord, but mostly actually is manifested in his two-armed form. But his different weapons which are there, they are also eternal and are permanently with him. And whenever needed, so they will immediately manifest, being called upon. As we know, so one of them, so it is mentioned here, Krishna is addressed in this way, Gadadhar, oh Krishna, you who are holding the Gada, the club. And Krishna is also known and is famous for that he is a transcendental wheel known as Chakra, Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan, that means who is very beautiful to behold. Darshan means to behold a beautiful form, to reveal a beautiful form, and Su means very, very auspicious or very beautiful. So the transcendental wheel is known as the Sudarshan Chakra. In short, Chakra, but more specifically known as Sudarshan Chakra. But actually, of course, Krishna is using this to destroy the enemies in this material world, the demons. And that is one of the purpose of Krishna's appearance in this world. Yada yada hi dharmasya gyani bhavati bharata bhutanam adharmasya tadatmanam surijamyaham. Paritranaya sadhanam vinasha chaduskritam dharma samstana patanya sambhavami yuge yuge. So it's coming very regularly to establish the principles of religion. So when there is irreligion, Krishna is appearing to establish a religion and to annihilate those or subdue or control those who are irreligious, those who are atheistic, those who are disturbing the devotees or the principles of a religion. So for that purpose, Vinashya Chaduskritanam. So Paritranaya is protecting the devotees, the sadhus, and is destroying or subduing or controlling the demoniac persons, atheistic persons, sinful persons. So in order to subdue them or kill them is using the club or the transcendental wheel. And this is mentioned also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, specifically more also in the 10th canto, where the pastimes of Krishna is there in Braj and in Mathura and Dwarka, very elaborately, quite elaborately, for the benefit of the conditioned souls. And the other two items which you're holding, one is the conch shell, known as Panchajanya, which is very auspicious and beautiful. And there's a beautiful sound emanating when Krishna is blowing the conch shell. So the conch shell is considered very auspicious, very pure. Although, so only speaking, anything which is from an animal like a bone is considered impure, but all the, of course, the even in this world, the conch shell is considered to be pure and is used in the service of the Lord. So what to speak of the items of the Lord? These are all transcendental. The gada, the club, which is not just an ordinary club made of material elements, now it is completely transcendental. Similarly, the wheel, transcendental wheel is transcendental. Satyanananda Sarup, eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. And similarly, the conch shell, Krishna's conch shell, that is eternal, always accompanying the Lord. And then there's the lotus flower in the hand of the Lord. So these are the four symbols which are there in the transcendental hands of any of the personalities of God, the Vishnumurtis. So Krishna, being the source of all of them, is also holding these four items. But not all the time. But sometimes he will manifest and have these items. So here is addressed in this way, Gadadhar. So everything about Krishna is transcendental, and Krishna is most beautiful. He's the embodiment of all transcendental qualities, which are practically unlimited. But in the Vedic literatures also, in the Nectar of Devotion, 64 are mentioned. And so, of course, 4 which are there. So these are specifically for when Krishna is in Braj, they are manifested at that time, and internally there with Krishna. Like Krishna, so besides holding these 4 auspicious items, when he's in Braj, he's holding the flute. So in Braj, usually Krishna is not using the gada, the club. And that the Sudarshan chakra is usually also not used. Very rarely that is manifested. And even the conch shell, Krishna is not using in Braj. But sometimes he's holding a lotus flower in his transcendental hand. But mostly and practically the flute is always accompanying Krishna in Braj. That is a very dear object of Krishna. So Krishna is playing the flute and is famous for that. Murlidhar Venu Govind. Govinda, another name of Krishna, who is holding the Venu, the flute. Again, the word Dara is used at that time. Murlidhar, Vamsidhar, Vamsi Gopal. Different names for the different flutes of Krishna. So Krishna is known as Gadadhar, Chakrapani, the one who is holding the chakra, and also is known as Murlidhar, holding the flute. Yes, and as we know that Krishna and Braj actually is most beautiful, and therefore the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they're fully absorbed in serving actually Krishna and Braj. But at the same time, so Krishna and Dwarka is no different from Krishna and Braj, but still at the same time, there's some differences there, and eternally Krishna is manifested in the spiritual world, but then also in the material world, and is in Golok and also in Dwarka and Mathura simultaneously. So the Supreme Lord is inconceivable and is all powerful. And the conditioned souls, they can hardly understand the Supreme Lord. Only eternal associates and those who are blessed by the Lord or by the pure devotee, they can have some understanding of the wonderful qualities and pastimes of Krishna. So here in the second part of this verse, so the padai, tat padai, tvat padai, that refers to, tvat refers to Krishna. Padai means the lotus feet of Krishna. Ankita, marked. So the beautiful items or symbols on the lotus feet of Krishna. Actually, it is mentioned that there are 19 marks on the lotus feet of Krishna. 11 on the right foot and 8 on the left foot. So here just a few are mentioned. by Kunti Devi here, as mentioned here. But also they're very dazzling, very beautiful, brilliant, Swalakshana. And so, of course, actually here in this particular verse, they are not specifically mentioned, it is only indicated. But then Srila Prabhupada in the purport is giving some details, like the flag is there, the thunderbolt, the instrument to drive an elephant that is known as Ankush, and then an umbrella, lotus disc, and so on are there on the lotus feet of the Lord, on the bottom of the feet of the Lord. So of course, we are the pure devotees, they may be able to always see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but as we know, so Krishna is walking and performing his pastimes, and then as indicated in this verse, and explained also by Prabhupada, these marks, then they are seen on the land, as mentioned here in Hastinapura or in Dwarka and also in Braj. As it is mentioned when Akrur, he was asked to bring Krishna from Braj, from Vrindavan to Mathura. So then and he arrived in Vrindavan, and on the ground also, he was seeing, in the dust of Braj, he was seeing the different marks of Krishna's lotus feet. And he became overwhelmed. And he came down from the chariot and he was rolling in the dust of Braj. But sometimes they may not be seen clearly. And when, for example, we see Krishna, so we don't see the lotus feet. I mean, the bottom of the feet, the sole of the feet. We see the upper part of the feet. But the devotees are knowledgeable, and so they will learn Prabhupada. So he mentioned some of them, so I will just explain all of them, because actually they are revealed in different places by the acharyas. In their writings, they have explained about all the marks of the lotus feet of Krishna. So actually on the right foot of Krishna, below the thumb, there's a barley cone. So barley cone, that is known in Hindi, also in Sanskrit as Java or Jaw. So that cone, the barley cone, that is actually to be considered the most nourishing grain, according to the Vaishnavas. So that the symbol of one grain is there on the bottom of the right, no, under the big toe of Krishna's right foot. And under that, the disc, the Sudarshan chakra is there. And under that, the umbrella is there. And then between the big thumb and the second finger of the right foot, there's a Urdhva Rekha. There's an upward line, auspicious line. If you see even in our hand, more on the hand than the feet, but even in the feet, so you may see, if you see your foot, the different lines are there. And there may also be, there's a long life line is there even in the hand, and there's a line of good fortune. And they are in India specifically, but even in some places in the West, some persons, by the mercy of the Lord, they are gifted. And of course, by studying also, the knowledge is given in the scriptures also by the great sages. They can read the hands of a person, and they can say something about a person, and they can also read the future. Not only from the hand, but even, for example, just from the tip of any finger, they can, especially even the small finger, they can say so much. So even in Krishna's hands, there are different auspicious marks and lines are there. And then under the middle finger of the right foot, so there is a lotus flower. And under that, there is a dvaja. Dvaja, that means a flag, a transcendental flag, the flag of victory, Jai Pataka. And then under the small, the little finger of the right foot, underneath that, so there's an instrument to drive an anku, to drive an elephant. So it is looking like this, if you can see. If you have this finger here, and then half of this is known as an ankush. Even there's a mudra for those who are doing deity worship. So they will, let me see if I can show it again. So there's so that the middle finger and then half of the forefinger. So that is the sign of showing an ankush. That is a rod to control the elephant. That is known as ankush. It is made of course, of hard steel, because the skin of the elephant is very, very thick. So you need something strong to control the elephant. So that auspicious mark is there. And then after that, there's a Shakti weapon. Under the ankush, there's a Shakti weapon. So that is, of course, that is the weapon also to control or to annihilate the demons. It is a kind of like a spear, a lance, so much there. And yes, so beautiful. It is shown here, yes. And then at the bottom of the right foot, so there is the jambu fal. First of all, in the center, there are 8 corn. There's a sign which has 8 corners. That is known as 8 corn. These are 4 quadrangulars put together, and then you have 8 corners are there. That is known 8 corn, ashtakon. Ashtakon means 8 corners. That is an auspicious mark, also known as yantra. And then in the four corners, there are the jambu fal. That is a fruit known as jambu fal. It is of purplish color. And then in the 4 other corners of the 8 corn, 8, as we see here, and that is known as swastik. Swastik, that is very auspicious sign. And so that is also indicating, actually, when we do the puja, when we do some auspicious ceremonies, we always draw this swastik. That is very auspicious. So that is on the right foot. On the left foot, under the big toe, there's a conch shell. Panchajanya, as also mentioned. Of course, it is not mentioned the purport, but everyone knows that Krishna is having the conch shell. As we know from the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna was blowing the conch shell, and all the other warriors are blowing the conch shell. But most astonishing or most terrifying for the demons or for the opposing party was when Krishna was blowing the conch shell. And then under the middle finger of the left foot, this is Akash. So that is the sign, that is the emblem of the sky. 2 circles are there. That is the emblem of the sky. And underneath that, there's a bow. Krishna's bow, there's a famous bow. Shangad is also known. The name is there. So Krishna's a bow also, not in Braj, but in Dwarka. He has that also read in. Sometimes he's using that, but not so much. And then underneath that, that is Gospad. So these are actually the imprint of the calves or the cow's hoof. So the cow is very dear to Krishna. And the calves or the cows, actually the cow is very, very auspicious animal and very dear to Krishna, even in the material world. And the cow is giving milk, which is very important. And therefore Krishna was always emphasizing the protection of the cow. And Nama Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmanitaya Cha Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So we offer respect to Krishna, to Govinda, and is worshipable by the Brahmanas and the Devas, the demigods. They're all worshipping Krishna. Every intelligent person is worshipping Krishna. But that Krishna, so he's showing so much respect to the Brahmanas himself and to the cow. and therefore is known as the protector of the cow and the brahmanas and the saintly devotees. Underneath that, there's one a triangle. Underneath, in the center of the left foot, there is a triangle. Yes, right, this is a triangle here. That is also an auspicious mark. And then on the four sides of the triangle, these are four water pots known as kalash. Whenever the devotee are doing a ceremony, they will have these four water pots in the direction, known as kalash, auspicious water pots, usually either made of copper or silver or gold. Nowadays also with stainless steel, or they are made with earth also, and then the water is put in that. These are auspicious also. Underneath there's a half moon, Ardha Chandra. Ardha Chandra, there's a half moon under the triangle. Yes, under the triangle there's a half moon. So that is very auspicious mark also. And of course Krishna is most beautiful, and sometimes his transcendental form is compared to many moons, like the Kama Gayatri, which is not different from Krishna. And so it is explained that 24.5 syllables are there, and they are compared to moons. Also, so Krishna, like for example, his face is just like the full moon. Therefore, Krishna is known as Krishna Chandra, Purna Chandra. But then his cheeks are compared to moons also, and then also, of course, the nails of his hands and of the feet, and then also the chin is compared to be like a moon, and the chin, the middle part of the chin, and also then the forehead is compared as a Ardha Chandra, as a half moon. And then on the bottom of the left foot is a fish, Matsya. Matsya, that is also auspicious. So these are the auspicious items, symbols which are there on Krishna's lotus feet. And of course, wherever Krishna is walking, that place becomes blessed. It becomes a holy place. So therefore, all the holy places are there, and that means in these places the Supreme Lord either appeared or he performed these pastimes. And so the most holy of all the holy places, of course, is the Braj, Golok Vrindavan or Gokul in this world. But then similar importance is given to Mathura and Dwarka also. So here, Kunti Devi, she was saying, because she was staying mostly in Hastinapura, that is present day Delhi. Even now there is one part of Delhi which is then known as, in the old language of Hastinapura, which is the old part of Delhi. There's New Delhi and Old Delhi. So Krishna was there, and the Pandavas, they were with him, and they was all blessed to be together with Krishna. So Kunti Devi, she was so much appreciating the presence of Krishna. Oh, we are so fortunate that Krishna is with us. And so she had, of course, pure love for Krishna. But sometimes she was also very much astonished by the wonderful pastimes of Krishna, especially in Braj. And the beautiful one of the prayers also says, which is very famous, that, oh my dear Lord, this is so astonishing, although you are the Supreme Lord. But as we have known and heard also, and truly, so she had a vision also of that and appreciated Krishna and addressing him in this way, oh my dear Lord, your pastimes are so wonderful. And I remember that in your childhood, you were there, and you were actually scolded by Mother Yashoda because you had taken some butter, and therefore she was running after you also, and was with a stick in the hand. And then she caught you also, and then she was going to bind you with a rope to a wooden mortar. At that time you were crying, and tears were coming from your eyes. The tears were coming from your eyes. And usually in India, around the eyes, there's a black ointment is put that is known as kajal. And then sometimes you have a dot also on Krishna's cheek here or on the forehead. That is just to ward off evil evil intentions of some evil persons who may be there. Even nowadays in India, all the pious people, they will have a dot on the chin, on the side, or on the forehead of Krishna, of their baby also. And also around the eyes, they have this kajal. Of course, usually the ladies also, especially in India, they will all have this black ointment around the eyes, and that is very beautiful. The women become more beautiful. So Krishna is always most beautiful. But at the same time, these different decorations are there on Krishna. And so Krishna's beauty is ever increasing, actually. So Mother, Queen Kuti, she was appreciating Krishna's beauty as a child. And although he's the Supreme Lord, he's Bhagavan, sometimes he's crying, as being afraid of Mother Yashoda. And then the tears are coming in that blackish in color because of the black ointment. So she was appreciating Krishna, and especially Krishna's wonderful pastimes in Braj, which she had heard also. But then, of course, she appreciated her own fortune, that Krishna is spending so much time with her sons, the Pandavas, and also with her. So she was feeling so much blessed, and not only, but because as a devotee, devotees are not thinking only about themselves. The devotees are always thinking about the welfare of others. Sarva bhutehi terataha. They wanted everyone should be happy. Not only they themselves should be happy, but everyone should be happy. And if they see that somebody is unhappy, then they will become unhappy also. And they will try to make that person happy. So Paradukha Dukhi, as even Prahlad Maharaj was saying, so if he is feeling distressed, the devotee is feeling distressing and distress of the other. So Mother Kunti, she was always trying to take care of everyone in the family, and also in her association. So, but then here also it is mentioned by Prabhupada, of course it is there in the verse also. So she's saying that yes, when you leave, so Prabhupada is mentioning, when you leave, it will no longer be so. So she was already apprehensive that one day Krishna will not be with us. And then what will happen if the Lord is not there anymore, and if the beautiful marks of his lotus feet are not present anymore on the ground? What will be the situation in this world? So she was already apprehensive, and it is natural. So the Lord is appearing, and then is disappearing, and the pure devotee is appearing also, and then they are disappearing. And when the Lord is disappearing, and when the pure devotees are disappearing, then immediately after that, usually there's some difficulty there. If the material world is a place full of difficulties, there is no doubt about this, and everyone can experience that. But when Krishna is present, or the pure devotee is present, then there are much less difficulties. It is much more peaceful in this world. And one can tolerate all the difficulties when Krishna is there, when the pure devotees are there. But when the Lord is disappearing, the pure devotees are disappearing, then the situation is sometimes very, very difficult. But then, of course, the devotees, they will cry out to the Lord. They will cry out to the pure devotees. And in this way, they will be still connected. And because Krishna is ever present, he is also in the heart of the devotees, and is there in the deity form. In this way, he will still help the devotees also. And they can take solace by taking shelter of the deities, by taking shelter of the pure devotees, and then by especially also taking shelter of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So therefore, we should take the chanting of the holy names very, very serious, because then we can realize Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nida Bhukta Abhinatvam Nama Naminaha. The Krishna Nam is not different. Nama Chintamani Krishna. So like a touchstone, so Krishna is completely transcendental, fulfilling all desires, and Krishna Nam is not different from Krishna, can fulfill all our desires, spiritual desires. But even if we have some material necessities, that we will also get by Krishna's mercy. Chaitanya is fully conscious, Krishna Nam is conscious, Rasa Vigraha, full of transcendental mellow. Akila Rasamrita Murti, Krishna is the embodiment of all transcendental emotions. So similarly, Krishna Nam is not different from Krishna. All transcendental emotions are there. And we can, by chanting nicely, we can realize. And Purna, Krishna Nam is perfect, complete, pure, ever liberated. So by chanting the holy names, then we ultimately we can realize that. And then we will feel the presence of the Lord always. And then we can overcome all difficulties. And then first we chant the holy names, then Rupa. Then we may see the form of Krishna. While chanting, we can see the beautiful form of Krishna. Tribang Lalit Shama Sundar, Krishna in the threefold bending form, holding the flute, having a peacock feather. Or those who are worshipping Krishna in Dwarka, they can see Vasudev Krishna, like Kunti Devi. So she was calling out to Krishna, she could see Krishna. But we who are followers of Mahaprabhu, so we are looking forward to always see Krishna in Braj. And by chanting nicely, then we can see his beautiful form, holding the flute, and wearing yellow garments, and beautiful Vaijanti Mala, flower garland. And then we can see the wonderful qualities. As explained, Krishna is unlimited qualities in full. So, but the four qualities are there in Braj, like Krishna, Venu Madhurya, the beauty of Krishna holding the flute and playing the flute. And the form of Krishna is most beautiful in Braj, surrounded by all his associates, especially the gopis, who have the highest degree of love. So when Krishna is with the gopis, it's most beautiful. And then so his wonderful pastimes, a wonderful loving exchange with his devotees. So by chanting the holy names, eventually, gradually, everything is revealed. And so then we can be always nicely situated. And then our life becomes very, very much auspicious. And then we are truly blessed if we nicely chant the holy names. So these different pastimes which are there in the Bhagavatam, and so we can learn so much. So Krishna and Braj is actually our Prananath, is the Lord of our life. At the same time, we hear all the pastimes of the other incarnations of the Lord. We hear of pastimes of Krishna and Braj. Then we hear pastimes of Krishna and Mathura, and pastimes of Krishna in Dwarka. And these pastimes, they're all actually there to attract us. But not only that, but also so we can learn something. There's so much to be learned from all these pastimes of Krishna. Because then Krishna is never alone. Krishna is with his devotees. And we can see the love and dedication, despite all difficulties of the pure devotees, despite all difficulties, they're fully surrendered to Krishna, dependent on Krishna, tolerating everything. And but then also the behavior of the devotees, that is very exemplary. So we can learn. For example, we are advised to also, of course, we are ready to do any seva for Krishna. At the same time, we should act according to Vana Ashram also, for the rules and regulations of the different occupational duties and the different social orders. And so that has to be done. And that we can see from the eternal associates who are accompanying the Lord in this life. So their lives are very exemplary. Their behavior is very exemplary. So much we can learn by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, by hearing the Bhagavatam, by discussing the Bhagavatam. So, and each verse is actually full of nectar. Yes, because in practically in each word we can see Krishna. Krishna is there. Mostly directly also mentioned, especially in the prayers of Kunti Devi. Many times Krishna's name is directly mentioned, or like Gadadhar, like this, and sometimes indirectly. But Bhagavatam is full about the descriptions of Krishna and his incarnation as his devotees and their wonderful activities, so which are there to be heard and to be sung and to be remembered every day as much as possible. And that should all help us by hearing these pastimes about Krishna, by worshipping Krishna. Then we can nicely chant the holy names. Then we can understand that Krishna Nam is not different. And by hearing about these pastimes, then while chanting, then we can see Krishna, then we can sometimes in the beginning, and then sometimes we can remember the pastimes. And in the perfect stage, one can always see Krishna. And one can always see his pastimes. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hediyeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achinta sarupam govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami, as Lord Brahma is saying in the Brahma Samhita. The devotees are anointed with the premanjana, the salve of love. Their eyes are anointed with the salve of love, premanjana. And therefore, because they have love, they can see Krishna. Always, Santa Sadeva, in their heart, the beautiful form of Shama Sundar they can see. So that is the goal of our life, to always see the beautiful form of Shama Sundar and his wonderful pastimes, especially the pastimes of Krishna and Raj. Hare Krishna. So it is, yes, it's almost according to our time. So we spoke for 1 hour. So there are any questions maybe? Any questions? We will try to answer any questions.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mukunda Prabhuji. Very wonderful class.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Devotees will come up with the question, but before that, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. In the course of lecture, you were rephrasing Srila Prabhupada's comment on Mother Kunti's lamentation on or prayers on the marks on the feet of Lord Krishna, and they symbolize
Yes.
different thing in the life of a devotee. But my particular question is going to the fish.
Yeah, I couldn't hear your question. Can you repeat it?
Okay. I'm saying that in the purport and in the statement of Mother Kunti, she mentioned that the marks on the impression of marks on the feet of Krishna. And you were explaining each of these items.
Yes.
Then I'm asking that the fish, I wanted you to explain a little bit more on the significance of the fish on the feet of Krishna.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The significance in the life of the Bhakta.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes, actually all the marks which are there on the lotus feet of Krishna, so they are auspicious, and there's a significance of the different marks of the lotus feet of the Lord. So actually the fish is in the water, and the fish is moving very freely in the water. Actually the fish is very happy in the water. And that is the natural situation of the fish that is in the water. If you have the fish on the land, the fish will not be happy. So similarly, the devotees, so they can only be happy when they are engaged in devotional service. And it is mentioned by Rupa Goswami also that the devotees are swimming in the ocean of love. Prem Sagar. Prem means love, Sagar means the ocean of love. So we have to try to be situated in the ocean of love. We have to try to be situated on the lotus feet of the Lord, serving the Lord in devotional service. Then we become just like a fish. Then we can swim in the ocean of love. Whereas in the material world now, the jivas, they're practically on the dry land. And they're just, and the fish on the dry land is just moving around, but he cannot survive and he will not be happy. So the jivas, if they're not engaged in devotional service, they're just like on the dry land, that they cannot be happy. So we have to dive deep in the devotional service towards the Lord. And then we can be just like the fish in the water. And then so we can be happy. And so that is the significance of the fish on the mark of the lotus feet of the Lord, encouraging us to become transcendently situated in the ocean of love of Godhead in devotional service. So
Thank
Rupa
you.
Goswami is, yes, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, that's
And we can
actually,
go, yeah, and we can go deeper and deeper. The ocean is very deep. The ocean of devotional service is very, very deep. In the beginning, we start devotional service, we have some experience, some bliss, but the more you go deeper, the more it is deep, and the more you can experience transcendental happiness.
thank
Okay?
you. Yeah, that actually is the basis of my question. Now, it is said
Yes.
that when the fish signifies that devotees being in the ocean of devotion. But now,
Yes.
the question is that how can one be in devotional service and not be happy?
How one can be engaged in devotional service and not be happy?
Yes.
That's not possible. That's not
So-
possible. If you
Krishna-
engage in devotional service, then you will be happy. But at the same time, we have to say, like for example, if you have sometimes some water goes on the land. If the water is going on the land, there's a little water on the land. And the fish is half in the water and half in the land. So the fish is in the water but cannot swim nicely. Then the fish will not be happy. So if you're in the beginning stage of devotional service, but if you're not going deep, if you're just in the beginning, you're just on the surface of the water, but still on the land also, still under the modes of material nature, then you can also be not so happy. A little bliss will be there, but if the modes of material nature are still there, then still there will be some suffering. So that we have to understand. So therefore we have to try to become free from the modes of material nature. Then we can be really swimming. Otherwise we are just only in the shallow water. And then we cannot swim nicely. And then there's some more difficulties are there. So
Thank you
therefore you have
very
to
much.
go in the deep ocean. Okay? So devotee are always happy. If you are not happy, it means one is not yet fully absorbed in devotional service. But sometimes even the advanced devotees, sometimes they are not happy. But that is transcendental unhappiness. There's transcendental distress also. But because they have the love for Krishna, then the distress which is there, that is only, first of all, it is only for some time because the emotions are coming and going. But still the underlying principle is the bliss. And just like the waves in the ocean, they're coming and going. So even for the pure devotees, the different emotions are coming and going. Like even the Pandavas, sometimes they were not happy. When Duryodhana took away their kingdom and they tried to rob or take off the sari of Draupadi, the Pandavas, they were very angry and very, very much disturbed. But Krishna was in the center, Krishna was nearby. But Krishna didn't want to get involved for now, but he helped. But there was not the time to help, but still he was there to help. So there were, but in the material world, it is a test also for the devotee, that despite all difficulties, and the pastimes of the Pandavas, for example, the devotees are there to show that the pure devotees, even if there are greatest difficulties, so much pain is there and distress, but they will never give up the devotional service. They will never give up the service to Krishna. They will never forget Krishna, even the greatest distress. Draupadi, they were taking her sari off. She was first trying to hold, but then she couldn't hold because a woman, she was not so strong. And then she remembered Krishna, Govinda, and she called out, Govinda. hey Damodar, hey Madhav, please help me. And then Krishna appeared and helped. Pandavas also, they were in the forest in exile, but because they were remembering Krishna, although externally speaking, so much suffering was there, but because they were remembering Krishna, so the suffering was very insignificant. That we have to understand. So the more we advance, the more we are properly situated, the more we can tolerate the problems of this world. But if you're not advanced, then the problems become very big sometimes. And then we have to remember Mahaprabhu. And there's a verse also, by remembering Mahaprabhu, big problems become small. But if you forget Krishna and Mahaprabhu, then the small problems become big. But if you remember Mahaprabhu and Krishna, big problems become small. So then we have to try, we have to call out. So even if you are not advanced, we call out to Krishna, 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 please help me. And Krishna will help. And then after some time, the problem will go away. The distress will go away. The sadness, the unhappiness will go away. And then happiness will be there. And the more happy we are there, then of course, then sometimes the distress will be there. But that will simply help us to depend and to cry out more to Krishna, and then we'll feel more pleasure. So it is ever increasing in spiritual life. The knowledge is increasing, the bliss is increasing, the good fortune, everything is ever increasing. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Our next question is from Dr. George Amega. George Amega, please kindly unmute and ask the question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Yes.
So my question is, from the Bhagavad Gita point of view, the material world is full of miseries already, as the Bhagavad Gita stated.
Yes.
From the up down to this material world is full of miseries. And
yes.
either you want it or not, the miseries will come your way.
Yes.
How then
yes.
is Mother Kunti praying for these miseries again?
Yes. Because you see, the miseries are coming and going, but sometimes it is like this, that because if one is happy in this world, then sometimes it may be that one is not interested in spiritual life. Of course, for example, now in the material world, now due to coronavirus, everyone is suffering. But before the coronavirus, everyone was happy. In the material world, basically, so much money, so much wealth is there, and then they don't want to hear about God, they don't want to hear about Krishna. But then if the miseries are there, it is even proven, when miseries are there, then people are more ready to call out to God. Oh God, please help me, I'm in difficult situation. But if everything is fine, then the tendency is there to forget God. And even as devotees, if everything is going fine, then there's a chance that devotees also become relaxed, and then they try to enjoy, have nice prasadam, take extra rest, everything is good. But if the difficulty is there, then you have to call out to Krishna. You have to cry out to Krishna. Therefore, Queen Kunti was praying, please let these difficulties come, because then I'm forced to cry out to you. And then because then Krishna will appear. Krishna was appearing when the difficulties were there, and he was helping the Pandavas. So Draupadi and then Kunti also, when they were in the forest, there were difficulties there. Then they were calling out to Krishna. And then the Pandavas and Draupadi, but then also, and then in this way, then Krishna will come and help the devotees. So therefore, Queen Kunti is praying, let these miseries come again and again, so we can remember you. Because if the miseries are not there, then we may forget you.
So, Prabhu, can we say devotional service cannot practice in the midst of happiness?
No, still you can also.
Can we say so?
Devotional. Well, I mean, sometimes it is a little more difficult for the devotees who are just beginning. For beginner devotees, it is good to have some misery. Then they will be reminded. But the advanced devotees, those who are very advanced, so they will be always equiposed in happiness or in distress, they're serving Krishna. For them, it makes no difference. But those who are practically, you may say, midway, those who are already a little bit experienced, so they will feel happiness. And then there's a tendency then to forget the Lord. And but still, actually, if one is happy, it is actually also good. And therefore, it is said, in happiness or in distress, we worship Krishna. But there's more chance that in happiness one will forget the Lord than in distress. But the advanced devotees always remember Krishna in happiness or in distress. But those who are not advanced, if they're sometimes in happiness, sometimes there's a chance of forgetting Krishna and again enjoying in sense gratification. Whereas if the distress is there, then automatically they will call out to Krishna. So in this mood, she was praying. Okay?
Okay, Prabhu, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, I'm not seeing any hands up now, meaning that devotees are satisfied with the discussion and the presentation.
Hare Krishna.
So if there are no more questions, then I will request all of the devotees to unmute. But before that, we want to once again thank you very much for the presentation. And
it was my pleasure.
We look forward to having you again very soon on the platform.
Okay, sure. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So we request all of the devotees to please kindly unmute. Let us loudly chant Hare Krishna mantra to please appreciate Prabhu for coming. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare
Ram,
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 Hare
Ram, Hare Hare.
Jai, His Grace Mukunda Datta Prabhu Jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Jai
Srila
Mukunda Datta Prabhu
Prabhupada
ki
Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Supreme Baba.